Hi there folks, Mick Andrews here again. Now, following the recent video I made showing how to make a drawing in Inkscape to use as a watermark, for those of you that don't know, I thought I'd come in today and with another video show you how to make a paintbrush watermark of your own signature for your pictures. You could also use text, but your own signature, maybe give it a more authentic watermark look. Now, I'm using Adobe Photoshop CS2, which no doubt you know by now Adobe are giving away for nothing these days. A complete program with a key. They are no longer supporting it, but it is a full Photoshop program. There really is no need to be going out spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars or a monthly amount for Photoshop or Elements when you can get this full program, which is going to do anything that most photographers want, unless you're real high-end professional. It's going to do what you want totally free of charge. So come down to here, click on there, and here is Photoshop CS2. Now the picture I'm going to use, which is already open here, is this one. It's just a sample picture off of my computer, so we're going to put it on there. So we'll minimize that. What we do need to do, however, is open another picture that I have. Now if we come up to File, Open, it's in a folder here. It's a picture that I took, which I'm going to open. Maximize. Right, what this is, it's nothing more than a piece of A4 white card, which I got a large black pen, scribbled my name on it, and yes, my writing really is that bad. And when I make a brush, I need the background to be pure white. So what I did was I photographed the white card and I used +2 exposure compensation to get the image to burn out, the white background to burn out. But we're going to check it anyway. So this is the image we're going to use, a piece of white card with my name written in a pen, black pen. So the first thing we need to do is to make a paintbrush. As I said, this white background needs to be properly white. Not nearly white, not almost white, it must be properly white. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to come up here to Image, click on it, come to Adjustments, and we're going to adjust the levels. The other way of doing that, of course, if I shut that down in Photoshop, is if I hit Control and L, I get the same levels panel come up. Well, as you can see from the histogram, this end here is the white. There's a large light area here, so there's a large spike on the histogram. This part here is the mid-tones, which is all in the signature, and maybe this piece down here, which is my floor. And this small piece here is the blacks, and they correspond to these three sliders here, here and here. So to make sure we got the background white, we need to pick up the the right hand slider, click it, hold and move it left to make the background light. But the thing is, you can't really tell how white it is. How do we do this? How can we tell? Well, it's very easy. If you hold down your Alt key, which I'm now doing, if you then left click and hold on the right hand slider, start to move it, you see something happen. And that is that you get a lot of colour on your white background, which means that's not properly white. So still holding the Alt key down and moving with your left mouse key, if we now drag this slider to the left towards the centre of the histogram, you can see the colour start to recede. Now, as soon as we get to the point where this has all disappeared, about there, we now know that we're looking at a properly white background. So we release the left mouse key, release the Alt key. As you can see, our signature, which should be black, is now a bit washed out. So if we come over to the left hand side of the histogram here, pick up the black slider and move that towards the centre of the histogram, you'll see the writing get darker. If we move it all the way to there, to there, to there, so that they're all the sliders are sitting on top of each other, we get a black picture. You will notice that there are some lighter colours, looks like a blue in this particular image. I don't know if you can see that. That's just the inconsistency of the pen on the card. But in actual fact, when you put it on your picture as a stamp, it'll add some authenticity to your signature anyway. It'll look more natural than just a font that you've used. So we now know the back is white. We now know this is as dark as we can get it. So we just go back to the panel, the levels panel, click OK, and that's that done. Now, how do we turn this into a paintbrush? Well, what we need to do is come up to Edit, click Edit, and come down to Define Brush Preset. But herein we find a problem. Define Brush Preset here is greyed out. Can you see that? There's a reason for this. The reason for this is that to turn something into a paintbrush in Photoshop, the longest edge of the image here cannot be any longer than 2500 pixels. If we come up here to the Image tab, click on that, come down to Image Size, we can see in the box here we have 2592. It's too long. Now we could just resize it from here, leaving resample image sized, but to tighten the image and to make sure we don't throw everything out too far, there's another way of doing it. If we just shut that, come over to the tool panel, pick up here the crop tool, come over to our image and left click and drag out and crop, I think probably to about there. We've now cropped the image smaller. It also means we've lost this piece at the bottom, which is my floor. We've lost a lot of unnecessary white space around it. Come up here to the tick, click on that. Now we have our picture. We'll come back to the image panel and check image size. If we check now, we've now got 1968, well under the size that we need. So if we OK that, we then come back to Edit. Now when we come down to Define Brush Preset, as you can see it's now black, which means it's available to us. We click on that and here's our brush. We're going to give it a name. Let's call it my name brush, and we OK that. Right, that's now a paintbrush. How does it work? Well, let's see if we can do that. Minimize this panel, maximize our penguins. Excuse me. Now, as with most things in Photoshop, we'll work the safe way. We'll come up to layer, click layer, new, whoops, new and layer. Let's just call this name. We might be doing a lot more, so we'll OK that. If we look down here now, we've got a layer at the top that says name. So we now want our paintbrush. So we come over to the left hand panel, click on the paintbrush tool, which is here, come to the brush panel, see we've got a drop down arrow here. If we click on that, we get a list of our paintbrushes. So if we now get hold of the slider and pull this down, I imagine it will probably be at the bottom. So if we get right down to the bottom, and there you are. You can just see there it says my name with the size 1790. So click on that paintbrush, come back to the picture, and it's huge. You can see my name there, but it is huge. That's easily resolved. Come back to your paintbrush panel here where it says 1790, which is the size we saved the picture at, and like any other paintbrush, just grab the slider here, move it down. Let's go to, say, it's not going to do it now. I think my computer's messing around. There you are. There you are. We're at 153 pixels, and as you see, we've now got a paintbrush with my name. So if I come over to my picture, left click once, and there you are. There's my name. Because it's a paintbrush, if we come over onto the picture, left click and hold, it paints like a paintbrush, like that. Which is probably not ideal if we're trying to show a picture. So if we just Control Z, clear that, you see my name here. It's now on the picture. We don't want the paintbrush anymore, so we come over to the Move tool, click the Move tool, back to the picture. Now we can pick this up and put it wherever we like. What we can also do, of course, is if we want it to look a bit more than just stuck squarely on the page, we can come to the Transform tab, which I don't recall where it is at the moment. Is this a Transform tool? No, it's a horizontal type tool. If we hit Control and T, we get to the transform. It's now got this box around it. We can come off, wrong way, there you are, and maybe rotate it the other way, come back to the move tool. Well, yes, we'll apply the transformation. Come to the move tool, pick it up, and then put it where we want with its jaunty angle. We can put it over here maybe, or up here if you're showing a client pictures, or we can put it in here or down here, maybe like an artist would if they were doing a painting. So just drop it in there, and there you can see the name. Of course, if you want another colour, if you want a entirely different colour, before you stamp it on the picture, when you've selected your brush tool, you can then select the colour of your brush, and when you stamp it on, it will be a different colour. Let's just pick this up again and put it up there. Now, I'm an artist, I've signed it there. And then we come to layer, flatten image. So we're now back to one layer here, and there's my picture with my jaunty angled signature on it. And of course, if we then come back to the paintbrush and we come down to the list, we find it's still there. It can be used at any time. So we click on that, we come back, there you are, it's huge. Adjust our brush, click, and there's a small version of it. So I hope this has helped. I hope it was simple enough how to make a paintbrush of your own personal signature. Have a good day, folks. Look forward to watching your stuff on the page. Take care.